Hey, right after the Good Place Marionville podcast was recorded today, the Lions Club announced that the 2025 White Squirrel calendar was released. Randy Smart and his incredible photographic ability has 13 brand new pictures on every page. Oh, you can't see it because of my green screen. That's kind of funny. But here's the deal. You can get your copy of the Lions Club, Marionville Lions Club 2025 White Squirrel calendar at the pharmacy, at the Bank of Billings, at Smart Insurance downtown Marionville. One for $10, two for $15. If you take 5 or more, the price is only $7. So give them away as Christmas gifts. And make sure you thank the Lions Club for all the work they do right here in Marionville. Get your copy. There's only 300 available for the entire town. You better get your copy today. White Squirrel calendar for 2025. Get it today. Bank of Billings, Marionville Pharmacy, and Smart Insurance. Now, off to our podcast. Welcome to the Good Place Marionville podcast, dedicated to highlighting the good right here in Marionville, Missouri.
In today's episode, we will highlight a few more Christmas items and then spend time with School Superintendent Shane Moseman. So let's get started and cover some of the good this week. All right, in school news, there's one more day left of the canned good drive in the elementary and middle school. The class, this is so much fun, the class that collects the most canned goods for the Ministerial Alliance will earn a cookie decorating party. Jim, do you think they'll let you come?
Probably not, but if those cookies are as good as the cookies that we had at the Storehouse Bakery last night, it's worthwhile, getting that Ministerial Alliance cookie decorating party. Hey, Greta reports that the Marionville Comets designer jeans basketball team played at Hurley last night after the varsity boys game and have a home game on Monday, December 16th, when the high school girls host Hurley. Come out and show your support. Now, for the school news highlight today, it's our pleasure to have School Superintendent Shane Moseman with us. Shane, welcome to the Good Place Marionville podcast.
Thank you.
We are so glad to have you here. So we're just going to kick back a little bit and get to know you. So let's start with your family. Tell us about your family.
I've kind of moved a little bit from, used to live in Iowa. I've lived in Kansas, Wyoming, North Carolina. I come from a family of educators. My dad was a superintendent in the early 90s in Springfield, and my brother is an assistant principal in a high school in Tulsa. So it's kind of been in my blood.
Yeah, okay. So married, kids, got anything like that going on?
Yep, I've got a daughter. She's 22, and she's a dental assistant, and my wife works for Mercy.
Didn't you tell your daughter she had to be in education?
You can't tell kids
she
that,
went
right?
on that one.
Wow.
Oh.
Apparently, what's her first name?
Riley.
Riley just wanted to end it. She said, enough educators in our family. All right, how long have you lived in Marionville?
I've been at Marionville working in the district this is my 15th year.
So you don't live here?
I don't live here. No.
No.
Yes, but 15 years in the district.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just a fun fact I want to know about you. Do you have a hobby or a favorite pastime that you like to do?
Yeah, I do a little woodworking.
Okay. What does that mean?
Building different things. So like tables and stuff and that kind of stuff, cabinets, that kind of.
Wow, like really custom cabinets, custom tables?
Yep.
Something you do on the side in your free time?
That's right. Yep.
That's awesome.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's like artwork. That's incredible stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So when did you start working in the Marionville School District, and in what role? And tell us about your roles as you've changed.
2010, I started as the middle school principal, and I've been in that position for the last 14 years, and this is my first year as the superintendent.
Very good.
And so we've been trying to get you on here since your job started on July 1. And since it's almost January 1, you've been busy. I mean, it's a lot, but so far, I mean, have you been having a good time?
Yeah, it's a lot different than what I've done as a middle school principal, which is mostly dealing with kids, and now it's more dealing with adults, and with the bond issue and construction projects that are going to be going on. That's kind of been my full-time deal to go with that.
Yeah, it's exciting. The bond issue is exciting. So which was easier, working with kids or working with adults?
Probably working with kids.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a tough question here on the podcast, Jim.
I taught middle school for 1 year. I knew the answer to that question.
All right. So you'll
Parents, take it easy on your teachers.
That's
Just
right. And
seriously.
administrators
That's right.
and all of the different roles. So, okay, you talked a little bit about the fact that there's education in your family, in your legacy. So did you always know that you would be in education?
Yeah, I did. I was really involved with athletics, and I kind of went in that route of coaching, and I was a math teacher for 12 years before coming to Marionville.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
So you went to college to be a teacher?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So in this first year, Jim alluded to the fact, first year as the superintendent, tell us some of the goals that you've had for the school here in Marionville.
That was my question. I
know, but you were just,
Fine.
enjoying the
Okay.
conversation.
All right. Okay.
Number one is safety and security for our students and staff.
Okay.
And that's part of that bond issue that we passed was to tighten things up a little bit with that.
Like, what do you mean?
We're putting in vestibules at the entrance to the middle school and at the elementary, so that when someone comes in the school, there's another layer of defense, so they just don't have free reign to go through the
So
school.
kind of like at the high school, where you can go through one door, but you press another button before you get into
the other one. Yes.
Okay.
And then the other thing is we're new windows for the middle school, which need to be done, and then we've got some doors that we're going to replace K-8. That some of them are original to the buildings, and that goes back to 1961, some of those doors. So we just want to make sure that we're taking care of those things for our students and staff. And then the other piece is making sure that our students have the best education that we can provide for them. I'm real into data, so we use a lot of student results and things like that to build on that and address instructional areas that we may be weak in.
And we're going to talk about a few data points a little bit later in the conversation, because we have some of the high school ones that just came out, and we'll be getting those for the other grade levels as well.
Now, I'll tell you, at our last Marionville Business Connect meeting, Shane, one of the local realtors from Aurora said, one of the biggest selling points about Marionville is, not to mention the small town feel, it's our schools.
Yeah.
Shane, people want to come here because our schools. So you inherited already great schools. We've met many teachers already. They're phenomenal. What's the most exciting, the most fun thing you've gotten to do in the last 6 months?
I guess working with more than just middle school. It's elementary, it's high school, and getting to know other folks and other staff members that I wasn't as close with as being in the middle school for 14 years. And having the staff that we have a really good staff, and we have awesome teachers. So like you said, that's a big plus for us.
What about a goal for 2025? As a superintendent, what's one of your big goals for 2025?
I think part of it is just getting that family atmosphere. We used to be K-12 and staying in one building, and there was a real family atmosphere to it. And now with the high school moving out to another location, just getting that back so that staff is working with one another K-12.
That's a great concept, because it is got to be tough and a different atmosphere when you're not in the same building or nearby each other, but yet you can still make that happen. So you've told us a little bit about some of the things you've been working on since you took over as superintendent, but give us a little peek into the work, because that's a big shift from being, right hands-on with what the kids are doing each day to, you're talking about facilities and security and things like that. So what really is the role of a superintendent, so people understand?
Well, part of it was just setting up kind of a PD plan of what we want to do as far as helping teachers improve in the classroom and that component.
PD?
Professional development. Sorry.
That inside lingo there, everybody, the PD plan.
The other piece is with a lot of my time has gone to the bond issue and getting people to come in and getting bids and stuff and getting that all set so that we can make some big updates and improvements to our school district.
Which is great, because, you said even your hobby as doing some carpentry type work, that's probably lended itself well to, there's a lot to know with what you're having to do with some growth and expansions.
There is a big learning curve.
No wonder he put off the podcast till December.
Yeah, he kept putting it off. All right. Is there something that our listeners might be surprised that you get to do that people don't know as part of your job? A good thing, because this is Good Place Marionville.
Oh, I think the the great thing about my job is I can go in the classroom and still watch teachers teach, and I can do it K-12, and I can be on out at the pickup line with elementary kids, and I can do the same thing with the middle school. So it gives me freedom to do more things district-wide than what I've had just as a middle school principal.
That's
Free to roam about the city.
Yep.
That's awesome. So pretty soon the school's going to be very quiet for Christmas break. And I'm just curious, do you get to take some time off as well?
It won't be quiet in the K building for sure. So
Okay, what's happening there?
well, we're looking at early childhood center, kind of getting things started with that. We're looking at windows for the middle school area. We're looking at putting in some lights. Matter of fact, we're going to start some of that real soon.
Awesome.
Some LED lighting, so that will make things look a lot nicer than what they have been.
Fabulous. Okay, so it's not going to all be quiet there just because the students are gone.
And our football field, we got the field house going up, and that's hopefully done in the next couple of months. So that's
Very
going
exciting.
Cranking away on it. If you want to know what he's talking about, go out on Western to the football field. You see a brand new building being built out there. All right. So Shane, how can our community, those listening to the podcast and those listening to the podcast that tell their friends about the podcast, support you as superintendent and the schools as a whole?
I think really the bond issue and the support that we got from that and has been amazing. And that's part of the reason I've stayed in Marionville is because of the community and how supportive they are. And it's a small town that is very close knit and very family like, and that's why I love it here.
It's a great place for sure.
And if I understand what I've heard is most of the things that you've described that you've been focused on wouldn't be happening if that bond issue hadn't passed.
That's right.
So I think that's really important. And one of the things we tried to highlight it a little bit here on the podcast, but I know it's a fine area for you guys because, getting the word out to the people that are not involved in the schools is an important part. So we want to keep up with that as we go forward. So, we received some big reports from Greg Hopkins about some of the things that are happening. Great. And Shane, you can add a little color commentary if you want on some of the highlights. Jim, you want to start it?
All right. So football finished 11-1 as district runner-up. They're 45-0. I mean, 0 losses in the regular season in the last 5 years. That's incredible. Way to go. Football comments?
That's right.
It is amazing.
So anything you want to add to that?
No, they're just played really well here the last 5 years. So
that is
I hope it continues.
There you go. No pressure, folks. None to anybody. Okay, so basketball kicked off this last week, and the girls basketball finished 3rd in the Blue Eye tournament, and the boys basketball finished 5th in the Marionville tournament.
All right, and as the bond was passed, baseball and softball field construction will begin very soon. How soon, Shane?
Next week. We're having a groundbreaking ceremony on the 16th.
Did you
so
get
we're
the
ready to
gold
roll.
shovel?
Awesome.
We're going to shovel. Yeah, we're going to get shovel.
Did you get the gold?
I don't know if they got the gold shovel or not.
It would be comic blue, Jim.
I hope so.
It's probably comic blue.
Comic blue shovel. Okay.
I mean, you got to keep with the theme here. But Greg actually said that some bulldozers arrived this week.
Yeah, they got their equipment set up there and everything.
Pretty exciting.
That is exciting. Let's just hope the frost doesn't go too deep. All right, the annual performance report, a report card from the DESE, Department of Education.
What's that stand for?
Yeah, what's that stand for, Shane?
DESE.
DESE, they're basically oversee every school district in the state.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right. So, and here's how our school came out. The District APR.
At the high school level.
At the high school level. The District Annual Performance Report. We are the 30th, Marionville is the 30th best high school out of 552 districts in the top 6% of all districts.
Wow.
Yeah.
On the high school, 86.6 was their APR, which is 52nd best school out of 534. I know this is a lot of numbers. We'll put it in the show notes for y'all, but top 9.7% of high schools.
High school algebra, top 25%. Biology, top 14%. English, top 3.2%.
Wow.
And high school government, top 34.9%. That's a lot of great news from the school, Martha. Shane Moseman, school superintendent, thanks for being part of the Good Place Marionville podcast, being our guest today, even though it took you 6 months. Hang tight, Shane. We still got a couple more things to cover today before we're done. You okay with that?
I'm good.
That's good. Yep. All right, because I'm not shutting off your mic, just in case you want to add anything else.
Feel free.
All right. We've got elections coming up in April. There are openings in all 3 alderman seats. An alderman seat in every ward is open. There are
Yes.
people running for re-election, and I don't know if all the seats will be run for re-election. So seats in Ward 2, 1, 2, and 3. But the deadline, if you want to fill one of those alderman seats, is December 31st, and you must register at City Hall. So if you're interested in serving our community as we grow and as we fine-tune our vision and our mission, go register at City Hall before the 31st.
Excellent. They got to act pretty fast on that one.
That's right.
All right. In nonprofit news, there is still time at the Ozark Manor to adopt.
Bad news. Sorry. Got that latest update from Wayne Rainey today at the Lions Club lunch, and everybody's been adopted.
Wait, that's not bad news. That's even better news.
That's what I'm bad
That's
news for
good
you
news.
because it's good
I was
news.
announcing something that didn't need to be announced.
It's good news.
Okay.
Everybody was adopted by staff and family members of the people at Ozark Manor.
Okay, and is the same true for kids across the city? Is all the gifts have
All the
been
kids
adopted?
been adopted as well.
Okay, that's very good news. Way to go, Marionville. I know I've been getting text messages and emails from people asking for being able to get tags and adoptions and stuff. So that's super. That the involvement is huge.
In first responder news, Aurora Marionville Police Department, in collaboration with other heroes in our community, like the fire department, hosted Shop of the Hero last Saturday, and 18 students were able to participate, and they were given money to go shop for clothes and for other things, not clothes.
Shop.
They had a great time. And Sparky the fire dog had a great time last night at the Christmas event and will be in the fire truck on Saturday to the parade, the Apple Fest Christmas Day parade. Well, pre-Christmas
awesome.
parade. Sparky will be back there again. And last night, Sparky got to meet tons of children, and he got to enjoy corn dogs, Grinch slush, cookies, popcorn, hot chocolate, and just being around me.
Oh, yes, because you were his
I was his
guard. You were the
keeper.
guard human.
I was his keeper.
Okay.
The one that was holding the leash.
So speaking of the Christmas parade, this Saturday, December 14th, downtown, the parade is going to start at 5 o'clock. And it's really important that I want everybody to know that after the parade, the event is not over. We're going to go on to the firehouse where the Christmas story will be read. Santa will come out. There'll be hot cocoa and gifts for everyone. And I'll put a link. If you still want to enter into the parade, you can join up and show off whatever you want to decorate. This should be a fun time. But a lot of people don't know that after the parade, there's still more to come. So make sure that word gets out.
So it's like an after the parade party.
Yes.
All right. Today's podcast episode sponsored, of course, by the Bank of Billings. We're so blessed to have a phenomenal local community bank like the Bank of Billings right here in Marionville. They love our community and support us in so many ways, including the Christmas event downtown that we had on Tuesday. The Bank of Billings is so busy in their bank and in their community. We love having them here. They're a member FDIC and, of course, an equal housing lender. And we're grateful to the Bank of Billings for all of their community support and for sponsoring the Good Place Marionville podcast. Martha, this was a great show today, and a very special thank you to Shane Moseman for being our guest and to our sponsor, the Bank of Billings, for showing your support for the good happening here.
You know, I should put a plug in that you guys are both in the Lions Club, too. We didn't. We failed to mention that.
I actually did the plug saying Wayne Rainey at today's Lions Club event.
That wasn't assumed there.
That's it. We're always, men and women are welcome to join us the second and fourth Wednesday at noon at Alice Irene's for the Lions Club, where we help support initiatives in the community for people that are in need, specifically with eye care needs, but also some other things that happen. But we have a great time, great lunch, great conversation, right, Shane?
You bet.
You bet. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that, Jim. You know, consider joining the Bank of Billings and becoming a sponsor of this podcast. You can email us at goodplacemarionville@hotmail.com.
Thank you to each of you for doing good in Marionville. We know it's contagious, so keep it up. It's easy to report good news. Just send an email to goodplacemarionville@hotmail.com and you'll get credit right here on the podcast.
Thank you for joining us for the Good Place Marionville podcast. Keep your eyes out for the good, and together, let's celebrate Marionville.